I want to learn about this really quick because I'm excited for this. Like, you guys see me, you saw me play Block Streets yesterday. You seen me play Deep Broken a lot. Like, ooh, Rell has me so hyped up. I really want a Deep Broken like One Piece game. That's like because most One Piece games are like awful, right? They're like horrible. At least when you look at One Piece and then look at it, it's horrible. It's awful. For a Roblox game, it's like alright or good. Like it's Roblox. Comparing Roblox to One Piece is like it's just not even fair. One Piece is just like up there, you know? There's just so much. It's so hard to replicate. But Ralsei's like it's given me hope. I've seen clips and I've seen things about it. I've seen like other videos about it in the past, and I want to be ready for it. I want to like be ready when like all of it comes out. I'm like hyped.
Rell is probably releasing this summer. I genuinely believe that, and if that's true, that means most of you are about to jump into one of the most complex Roblox games ever made, without
Yeah,
actually
that's what
knowing
I'm
how
worried
most of
about.
it works. I've already covered the big stuff, everything you need to know before launch, every single devil fruit and hockey in the game, but the thing is, those are the
Mm.
systems everybody talks about. What
I don't even
nobody's
know
really
this
broken
yet.
down yet are the systems
Ooh,
that are
that's
actually
cool.
going to separate the players who ascend on day 1 from the ones who are completely lost.
It's
Things like how
5 years
the
ago.
faction you pick changes your entire experience, how the crew system in this game works nothing like block routes,
Is that
how
like
there's a full underwater
fire?
world with its own
There
combat
is?
rules that most people don't even know
Combat
exists,
rolls in
how
underwater?
weather actually
What?
affects how you play. These
It's
are
gonna
the
be weather?
systems that are going to matter the most when this game drops, and nobody has put them
Like that
all in one
effects?
place until now. And if you're new here and you
Obviously
want to be
there's
a
gonna
part
be
of the
weather though,
Crucelli gang,
you know what I mean.
subscribe. Let's start with races. I've mentioned them before, but I've never actually got in depth on what each race does and how it's going to impact your gameplay from day
Okay.
one.
Oh
There are
wait, that's
5
really cool.
confirmed
Well,
races on
that light laser
launch:
was doing.
Human, Mink, Scapian, Fishman, and Cyborg.
Pretty
Races are the
basic, yeah.
species you choose at the very start of your RLC's journey, and they're completely free. There's no gacha, no pay to win, no spinning for the race you want, you just pick it. And according to the devs,
Nice.
they're all balanced, meaning no race is going to completely dominate the others. They each just give you
Okay.
something different. Starting with Mink. This is probably the most unique race in the game. Minks
I'd
come
assume
with
so.
customizable goat horns, and more importantly, they
Goat?
naturally have access to Electro.
Goat? There's plenty of minks that aren't goat. I'm assuming there's gonna
Their
be
own
more.
built-in fighting style that no other race gets by default. But the real thing about minks is their mode. During nighttime,
Right?
if you're
Oh,
looking at the
Sulong,
moon,
yeah.
you can activate Sulong form,
Okay.
a full transformation that massively increases your combat power. And the moon cycle in Rell Seas changes every 2 real-life hours, so this isn't always available. You have to actually plan around it. Fishman is the underwater race. You can customize fins, tentacles, and growing
That's
headlights.
cool.
And in water, fishmen are just built different. They have no oxygen loss, faster movement, and
I'm
they have
assuming they're
their
gonna
own
be
fighting
awful on
style that's
land.
expected to be built around underwater combat. And
Yeah, I'm
considering how
assuming they're gonna
massive the
be.
underwater world in this game,
Here's what I'm gonna assume. I'm gonna assume fishermen, unless you have a devil fruit, obviously. If you have a devil fruit, then you just can't drown, you're just paralyzed there. I don't know what they're gonna do with that. But like, if you don't have a devil fruit, then you should just be able to move around freely, completely, infinite oxygen, like way faster, get stronger in the water as a fisherman. That's what I'm assuming they're gonna do. That's what they just shown, or at least I'm pretty sure that's what they just showed. So I'm assuming that's how that's gonna work. But just like in One Piece, what I'm assuming is gonna happen is like everybody hates them, or like almost everybody hates them. Like generally, most people from all factions in One Piece hate fishmen, other than like, oh yeah, including the like common people, they hate them too. Other than like the Revolutionary Army, it's like the only people I can think of that don't directly mostly hate them. I say mostly because like obviously like not all people do, not all pirates do, but like, I'm assuming that's going to be the downfall of them. I'm assuming they're going to be slower on land too. Like something's going to there's going to be like some sort of like bad attribute on land. They're stronger than people in the show though. Like a regular fish. Ooh, I don't even know because like I'm going off of the Arlong saga here saying that fishmen are like on average stronger than humans. But to be fair, that was the Arlong crew. That's different. They specifically chose from the strongest in that area. Hmm. So I don't know. Ooh. It might just be like, I don't know, who knows? On land, humans are probably like equal or slightly stronger than them on average, and then like other way around were owned in water. No, fishermen were just way stronger in water, but you know what I mean. I don't know. I'm curious to see how they're gonna balance fishermen because, like, obviously they have that water buff.
which I'll get into later in this video, Fishman
All
might
right.
be the most practical race for serious players.
Yeah.
Cyborg is a modified human with robotic parts. Details are still limited, but the expectation is they'll have the highest affinity for built-in weapons and guns. Basically the race for players who want a high-tech based combat style. Skypian is the aerial race.
Excuse me. I'm assuming Cyborg's gonna be generally best for PvP and like best for short-term stuff. It's probably gonna deplete really quickly or like have high defense. But like just generally for quick stuff and defense, it's probably gonna be the best. That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming it's gonna run out pretty quickly though and have its flaws. So
Picking this one literally gives you wings, and my guess is it also gives you Gapo jumps, extended airtime, and maybe even zero fall damage. If you're someone who wants to fight from above and
here's the thing about Skypian. In this show, they don't even like use their wings. Skypians are pretty much people with wings, and we don't even know if they work. Like it's pretty much just humans with wings. That's literally it. They have an attribute. They have like 2 antennae on their head, and they have wings. That's pretty much it. Other than that, there's like genuinely nothing different. Everything else is like the exact same. And those antennae and wings serve pretty much no purpose, that's shown. It's pretty cool that people like give them the ability to fly or give them like extra jumps in games and stuff, but like generally like it's never been shown in the show that they have any use or purpose.
control space in combat, you should go Skypian.
So there's
And
nothing
then
to base it
Human, the
on.
most straightforward race. It will probably have no underwater advantage, no wings, no transformation, but that's the point. It is the most balanced option on land. It will likely have a solid base fighting style,
Yeah.
and for players who just want to focus on weapons and haki without worrying about the race you have getting in the way. Human is actually a good choice for most of the player base.
I'm probably
Every
gonna go
single
Human
one of
in
these
it.
races gives you something. It's
Potentially,
not about
maybe. We'll
which one
see.
is broken,
Ow.
it's about which one fits how you want to play. Moving on to factions. In one of my previous videos, I only mentioned Marines and Pirates, because I wasn't completely sure if there was anything else confirmed.
wait.
However, one of you guys sent me this. Under the official Rell group.
Ooh, Council of Piracy. Is that supposed to be like the Warlord system or like some sort of like underground pirate system? And the Arms of Revolution, that's gonna be fire. I'd want to join the Revolutionary Army once I fly. That'd be cool. Then there's the Marines and the World Government. They have those two separate, alright.
There's like 4 affiliated groups:
I'm
World
not
Government,
gonna like the
Marines,
government, which
Revolutionary,
is
and Pirates.
hey.
This most likely means all 4 of these factions are
I'm
guaranteed
gonna
to
try
be
to join
in the
the
game,
Revolution,
giving you an
so.
even bigger variety of progression than any other One Piece game or Roblox. You aren't stuck just being a pirate or a marine. You can be the World Government or the Revolutionaries. Now, being a pirate sounds simple. You do whatever you want, sail wherever, fight whoever, while being an enemy of the government and the Marines. But what most people don't realize is how being a pirate actually affects your gameplay in detail. The Rell world is filled with over 40 completely separate NPC pirate factions,
Oh, cool.
each with their own flag, their own crew, and their own political beliefs. And these crews aren't just bandits you fight to level up. These factions spawn into random events on islands and at sea.
I'm assuming those crews are based on the staff. Those are just like the general base crews that are like gonna have the most people on them, be the most popular. Maybe they're owned by a content creator, maybe they're owned by like a developer. Just like a staff member. We'll see though. I'm assuming that's what it's gonna be. Like the Rell Pirates or something. Like
And every time one shows up, you have to make a decision. Do you help them, fight them, or walk away? And that choice matters permanently. Help a faction enough and you might unlock their exclusive items, techniques, or even weapons. Cross them,
cool
they might
cities.
become your enemy for the rest of your playthrough. No 2 players are going to have the same experience, and no 2 visits to the same island are guaranteed to play out the same way. And here's where it gets interesting, because Marines aren't just a random faction that just exists. If your
Right.
bounty gets high enough as a pirate, they will actively hunt you down, and if they catch you, you're not just gonna PvP each other like every other bounty system in Roblox, because if you lose, you're getting sent to Hades Asylum, their version of
Ooh.
Impel Down, a full 6th floor prison, each floor its own separate world with its own biome and quests, with the most dangerous criminals locked at the very bottom. The only people who can move
That's
through
cool.
every floor freely are Marine Admirals, using the elevator system. Everyone else has to fight through it, and if you end up inside,
I want to make sure of something real quick. Alright.
There's a gulag system that lets you fight your way
Gulag
out,
system?
so even getting caught as
Ooh.
a pirate has its own gameplay, which no other Roblox game has ever done.
Wait, that's a
Speaking
really
of
cool.
marines, if you want to become one, you head to a marine base, walk into the main building,
You
find the
start as a
recruiter
civilian?
NPC, and you're
Oh
enlisted
wait,
starting at the very bottom.
that's so cool. If you start as a civilian and you have to join the pirate, like you have to become your own pirate, or like join another pirate crew, or become a marine at a post, or like find the Revolutionary Army to join them. That's so cool. That's so cool. I like that. I like a lot of the things it said actually. It's actually like trying to be One Piece, One Piece. It's trying to be like One Piece instead of like you see all these like poopy Roblox games like Grand Peace Online and Cellar Peace and Blox Fruits where it's just like it's just Roblox. It's just another Roblox slop game. It's like kind of mid. You grind, you kill, you get stronger, boom. That's it. Like there's like no thought. There's just I need to like have whatever makes me strongest. Period. That's it. I need to kill things to be stronger. But your bounty only goes up from being stronger. You choose a side, and it's just like that. It's just kind of sloppy, you know. It's really bad. This is like this is so cool.
As a recruit. Your entire progression from there is built around climbing ranks by stacking reputation, arresting pirates, completing marine missions, anything that benefits the faction and the world government. And the
Yeah,
higher
it
you
makes
climb, the
sense.
more exclusive your quests get. Because the endgame for marines isn't just being strong, it's access. Admiral is the rank, where the game genuinely gets different. You get exclusive access to the Hades Asylum elevator, meaning you can move through
Are
every floor freely, while
players
everyone
are players regularly gonna become an admiral? I feel like the highest rank a player should be able to normally get without there being like some massive tournament hosted by developers or like a content creator or something like that should be Vice Admiral. I feel like becoming an admiral should be like there should be a cap on the amount of players that can. There should only be like 3 or 5, maybe 10 that are allowed to be that. I feel like it should be like capped and like each should be shown. It should be like if an admiral joins, everybody should be shaking their boots. This is like one of the best players in the game. This is someone who's just hyper intimidating. They like earn that. They didn't just like play the game or a lot or no life to get there. They like actually earned it through tournaments and stuff. They like it's like they're him. Like it has like a lot of presence. I think it should be the same for like Emperors of the Sea. Potentially for Warlords too if they implement Warlords. I think anything like that needs to be like, implemented like that. I think that'd be really cool. Mm. I think a really good player should be able to get Vice Admiral. There should only be a few like 100 Vice Admirals that can be possible. Like it's obviously going to be a really popular game, like hundreds of thousands of players actively probably, similarly to Blox Fruits. It should be very hard to become a Vice Admiral. That's what I'm thinking. Like very hard. Like New Lifes would be Vice Admirals. Ah, that's I think you should be able to get that normally through progression, but it should be extremely hard. That's how I'm thinking about it. Hmm.
else fights through it floor by floor. That's content pirates and low-ranking marines literally
Yeah,
cannot see, and your whole existence on the open sea as a marine is being the hunter. Any pirate with a high
he's
enough
being the
bounty
hunter.
becomes your target, both players and NPCs. However, the downside of being a law-abiding marine is you have to pay your taxes, which as a pirate, you don't have to worry about it. Now,
They're gonna have taxes. Yeah, no matter what. By the way, I'm 100% gonna be a pirate or a revolutionary in the game, or maybe like a solo Ronin. We'll see. It's gonna be something like that because like I hate how the Marines and government work in One Piece. The government just like it's just you know how it is in One Piece. And then like the Navy, it's just like their dog. It's their little puppet. It's like the like public offensive version of them. It's just like it's their little doll. It's their mask.
Now, the Rell government is confirmed as a playable faction, but the devs have kept the details completely secret. What we do know is that this is the corrupt side of the power system, the
Yeah,
faction above the Marines,
I want to
telling
go
them what to
directly
do and pulling
against
the
them.
strings behind the scenes. So whatever this faction ends up being, it's not going to be the hero path. And that makes sense when you look at who's built specifically to oppose them, the revolutionaries.
Yeah.
The entire point of that faction is to tear the Rell government down. So these two factions are essentially built as opposites, and depending on how many players choose each side, that conflict is going to look completely different on every server. In my previous video, I've mentioned fighting styles, but I never actually went through all of them properly. There are 4 confirmed fighting styles in Rell Seas. First is Blackleg, Sanji's iconic style where he exclusively uses his legs in combat. No hands at all. Fast kicks, powerful combos, and based on how he works in the anime, it's probably going to be one of the most fluid and aggressive styles in the game. Then there's Electro, which based on everything we know, is almost certainly going to be exclusive to the Mink race. Minks naturally generate electricity through their bodies, so this style is going to be fast.
My bad. I was spacing out. I wasn't like fully reacting. It'd be cool if all the fighting styles are actually really different. I'd be really happy if they actually make Electro specific to Mink. It should be something that you should be able to unlock specifically with Mink. It's really stupid to me. Like I thought it was really cool because I really liked electricity. It lay like in Blox Fruits, but this is before I watched One Piece. This is like I didn't even know it had any like anything to do with Mink specifically. I just liked the electricity, so I was like, ooh, cool, I want this. And the first thing I did when I got to 3rd sea was get Electriclaw. But like now I'm like, it's so stupid that things like a cyborg or a dragon are able to use Electro. I think that's stupid. Because after you watch One Piece, you understand, oh, it's a Mink thing. They create like static electricity through their fur, and that's they like use it to fight. It's like it's a Mink thing, right? And then Electroclaw is like Sulong. It's a Sulong thing. It like evolves. It's. I'm glad. I'll be glad if they actually make Electro just like a specific Mink thing, and then like it evolves into whatever Electroclaw's like an Electroclaw like thing whenever they go Sulong. That'd be cool.
And probably built around quick hit and run attacks rather than standing your ground. Rokushiki is the interesting one. In the anime, this is the fighting style used by the high-ranking marines and the Cypherpol agents. So in Rell Seas, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is locked behind joining the marines or the world government.
I feel like nobody's gonna want to normally be a government agent or a marine, but people are gonna do it because there's gonna be a lot of cool things specifically hidden behind that content. Like, you're only going to be able to get specific things from being a government agent, being a part of the government, or like being a government. I feel like that's what they're going to do. Which is valid. It's going to attract a lot of people. A lot of people are actually are going to want to do that anyways to play the role, to like feel it, and like, you know. There's going to be a lot of reasons for people to do that.
It's a technique-based style, built around superhuman movement. Things like Soru for instant dashes, Gappo for air jumping, Ranyaku for blade kicks. If this ends
I
up
watched
being
the
Marine
English
or
version of
World
One Piece. I know what he meant through all of those because of the images, but like, I did not watch the Japanese version. Things like Gappo, I'm assuming, is just like moon jump, air jump, whatever they call it, because Sanji called it something different. I don't know if it was like moon jump or air jump. They called it different things. One of them was like shave. Yeah, shave. There was iron body, finger pistol. But yeah, I know what he meant. My bad though, I just didn't watch the Japanese version.
Exclusive, it's going to be one of the main reasons people choose those factions. And then
Yeah,
there's
100%.
Dragon Claw Fist, Sabo style, a hand-based martial art focused on concentrating
I
claw
wonder if
strikes
that'd be
powerful enough to shatter
revolutionary
steel. And given that Sabo is literally the chief of staff of the revolutionaries in One Piece, I wouldn't be surprised either if this one ends up being tied to the revolutionary faction in Rell Seas.
Because
Looking
I'm assuming
at all
it
four
comes
of these
from
together,
Dragon.
I'm starting to think faction
Sabo.
choice is going to have way more impact on your build than people realize. The devs paying that much attention to detail means your faction might genuinely shape what fighting style you have access to, which makes the choice at the start of the game a lot more important. Something you guys really wanted me to cover are weapons, and honestly this system deserves way more attention than it gets. In Rell Seas, there's 29 confirmed weapons, and every single one of them has its own unique abilities, not just different damage numbers, but actual different moves. No guys, this is genuinely more weapons with more depth than any other game launched on Roblox. Weapons are split into 4 classes: light, medium, heavy, and ranged. Light is your dagger, spears and rapiers.
So
Fast,
it's deep
agile,
broken.
medium is your standard swords and spears, aka the balanced option most people go for. Heavy
Deep
is your
broken then.
axes and large blades. Slower but hits like a truck and can break through enemy
So it's
defenses.
deep
And
broken.
range is your bows and guns, keeping distance and controlling space.
So
But
it's deep
here's
broken.
something almost nobody has mentioned. At character creation, before you even start playing, you pick a weapon class
So
to
deep
bond
broken.
with. And that bond actually gives you a permanent bonus to weapon EXP gain
So
throughout
deep
the
broken.
entire game. So similarly to Deepoken,
Yeah.
you have to be careful with what weapon class you choose at the start, because you will be the strongest
I
with
like
that
that
one
though.
weapon.
Though
Now,
deep broken.
for how
Oh,
you actually get weapons.
Deep Woken's weapons are like really cool. The way they did weapons is really cool though. So I like that. I hope they also make it where you can parry with swords. Someone using a sword. Okay. Someone using a sword in hockey should be able to fully go hand to hand, if not do better than someone with an awakened Logia or some awakened ancient like beast, anything like that. Someone without a fruit, just like by pairing attacks or by using hockey, should be able to go toe to toe with them or beat them. If you've watched One Piece, you know like the stuff that Gold Roger, Shanks, and like you can say Whitebeard and Odin as well. You know the things they've done just with hockey and weapons and swords. Like they should be able to like go toe to toe with any sort of fruit user without having a fruit. It shouldn't be required. There should actually be a benefit for not using a fruit, like for swords or something. There should be like talent cards in the game or something, something along that line. And if you don't go a fruit, you're like way better at using swords. I think that'd be a good way to put it. And I think you should be able to parry with swords. Like parry attacks, like how you can in Deepoken. Like some things in the game that it's making, you have to parry. Some things you have to dodge. Some things you have to like block. I think that'd be really cool. Like just as I said, just like how it is in Deepoken.
There's 4 confirmed ways: buying from NPCs, boss drops, quest rewards, and
Okay.
crafting. And looking at the weapon designs that have
Game's
been
not even out
shown,
yet.
you can actually piece together where a lot of them come from. Weapons that share names, like the Leviathan series, are almost certainly
God,
drops
so
from the
much.
Leviathan boss. The Sea Cow swords, tied directly to the underwater Sea Cow
Sea
boss
Cow's
we've
crazy.
seen footage of. Skypian weapons are probably crafted from materials you find on the Sky Islands.
Or
And
found
the
on
ones with names
Skype,
like Demon, Cat, and Golem are likely either boss drops or quest rewards tied to specific islands and
probably,
events. My personal favorite that I wanna try and get is the Sea Cow sword, just because the design is interesting. Once you have a weapon that's not
So
actually
wait, why do
everything,
they have Goku's hair? Alright.
upgrading is done through blacksmith NPCs found across the islands. Each upgrade costs specific materials that are randomized every single
Is
time,
that a
so you
dark
can't just
dagger?
stockpile one resource and
Or
spam
the Euro
upgrades.
dagger?
The cap is apparently 20 upgrades or so, each one increasing your damage scaling, and on top of upgrading, you
Okay.
can also enchant your weapon, which is expected to give it a unique elemental passive ability. That's massive for no fruit builds specifically, because it
Yeah.
means a pure sword user can still have an elemental edge in combat without needing a devil fruit at all. My only concern with this system is weapon inflation. If
Okay, it
weapons are
shouldn't
too
just be
easy to
specifically
get,
elemental.
people will just skip upgrading entirely and keep chasing better.
They should do enchants like how it is in Deepoken. That's how I think. I think it should be just like how it is in Deepoken. Maybe like just like how the elements work. It doesn't have to be like elemental grease or elemental stone. Like it doesn't have to be specific like that. But I don't think it should be like a list of like different elements and like, oh, this one sets the opponent on fire when it hits them. This one should poison them when it hits them. No, it's way too basic. It's just like a copy of like, what's already there, Logia's. If you want to do that, I think it should be like, how like blazing, for example, is. I'm gonna use this as an example because it's an obvious elemental thing in Deepwoken. Like where you have to get a certain amount of hits to be able to like ignite the opponent, and then they can just like kind of shrug it off, but it still ignites them, and in PvE, it like most enemies can't roll, so like it just stays ignited. It should be something like that. And like those should be like the lower tier ones, because if you're going a sword, you shouldn't have to think about elements that much. I say this because like you look at the enchants in Deepoken, and obviously there's like some just way better. Like there's detonation, there's Grim, there's like Easely's fire ember, there's astral. There's plenty of things that are just like way better than like other ones, and like they're not even really related to elements. Like Easely's fire is, but like it's not even like how it works isn't directly elemental, and it's cool and it's curse. That's another thing. Some enchantment curses would be cool. Just like from that display that they just showed, I don't really like that enchant system, but I think if they did something like how Deep Woken does, that'd be cool.
drops instead of investing in what they actually have. Hopefully the material costs are balanced enough that upgrading your weapon is actually worth it. Alright, ships. And I need you to actually pay attention to this section because
Okay,
I genuinely think this is the most underrated system in the entire game and most
is it?
people are only talking about the basics of it. In Rell Seas, your ship is not just how you get from island to island. It's actually
Alright,
your home and your biggest investment in the game. Everything
nice.
revolves around it. And the depth of this system is unlike anything that has ever been built in a
So
Roblox
just
game.
like One
Let's
Piece.
start from the beginning. There's three
Excuse
types
me.
of ships you can buy: sloops, caravels, and
So Sea of
galleons.
Thieves,
Sloops
alright.
are the smallest and fastest, built for speed and going solo. Caravels are the meatier, balanced between speed and firepower.
I like
Galleons are the
this.
biggest, the slowest, and the most powerful,
So I'm
built
gonna
for
be
big
using a sloop
crews
for a
who want
while.
to dominate naval combat. Each ship type has a different number of customization slots, meaning bigger ships have more room to build out. You spawn
Yeah,
your
makes
ship using
sense.
a ship bottle item. You literally throw the bottle and it shatters and your ship appears in the water. But here's something people
That's
need
cool.
to know. If you leave your ship without dropping anchor, other players can just take it. Your ship can be stolen, so make sure you anchor your ship if you don't want to be
Valid.
left swimming in the middle of nowhere with sea beasts all around you. Now, let's talk about how the ship actually works in combat, because this is where things get insane. Ships have two modes: exploration mode and battle mode.
Cool.
Exploration is just sailing
I like
normally,
that.
but when you switch into battle mode by pressing R, you're filled.
Wait, the battles on like mid-sea on ships might be really cool because of this. I could imagine it being like Sea of Thieves ship battles. Ooh, this might be really cool. This might be some Pirates of Caribbean type like stuff. This
View
could be really
expands, and you
cool.
get access to three abilities: Mortar Cannons, Chain Shot, and Ram. Mortar fires in an arc and hits from a distance. Chain Shot is designed to slow or cripple enemies down, and Ram lets you
I'm
drive directly
assuming
into another ship to
I'm
deal
assuming battle mode's gonna make it easier to turn. All the weapons are the main focus, but the ship's gonna go way slower.
collision damage. But the thing that separates Rel's ship combat from literally every other Roblox game is this: you can use your character abilities while on a moving ship without falling off. In every other Roblox game, the second you jump or use a move on a
That's
ship,
just called using good physics. Like, I'm gonna compare this to Blox Fruits because it's an obvious thing you can compare it to. For some reason, a lot of the moves in Blox Fruits just like make you stop moving. If you charge in air, you can use this to just like kind of hover in air as well. It's really dumb. It's kind of just Blox Fruits hating their game. Honestly, they do hate their game. I'm convinced they hate their game, but like you just kind of stopped. In fact, some things can even just kind of stop the ship, make it just stop moving entirely or glitch it out. But like most of the time, you'll just like the ship will go on without you because you'll just pause. This is just called using good physics and making the physics of the ship go with your character and making attacks not pause you in the air for some weird reason. Um, obviously, if someone like uses like some sort of flying thing and like flies out of the bounds of the ship, like over the railing or something, they should be able to just like keep flying without like the ship's physics affecting them. How I think it should work is like whenever they're in on the railing or within the railing, like on the ship or above it, just like in its premises, you should have the speed and direction of the ship affecting your character. Like even if you're flying in midair, like if I'm transformed into Phoenix, I'm flying above the ship, just a little bit like below the cockpit and stuff, it should still just fly me, like automatically hover me with it. I think that's what it should do. And then if I fly over the edge, then it stops and it's going without me. That's how I think it should work. That'd be really cool. That'd fix the physics perfectly.
you fall into the water and you're done. Rell
Yeah.
fixed that, so naval combat becomes this chaotic mix of ship abilities and character combat
Yeah, that's
happening
what I
at
was
the same
assuming.
time on the same deck, which nobody has ever done before. And it goes
Another thing that'd be really cool. Oh yeah, they're showing people being able to get into cannons. Something that'd be cool is like any sword users could like go into cannons, shoot towards them, like and then like do combat through there. Anyone that can fly can just like fly over to their ship. Any sort of like devil fruit users can just like attack it or go through the cannons, but probably just attack it normally like from ship. Who's ever operating the ship can shoot cannons at it, then maneuver the ship, get it out of the way of fireballs or of the cannonballs. Why did I say fireballs? Um, And then like the shipwright could just be like repairing the ship. It could be like specific areas. You know how Sea of Thieves has like specific areas and you can like repair it? There could just be like a shipwright working on it like that. You know how in like Sea of Thieves combat you got like someone just like repairing the ship? It could be something like that. That'd be cool. And there could be like the doctor of the crew just healing people that are hurt. Like if you get really hurt, you can retreat back to the ship and the doctor can like heal you up, make you feel better. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. It'd be like not everybody's focusing on fighting. The main premise isn't just like get stronger, get stronger. It's actually like teamwork, working together, cooperation. Like it's actually like One Piece. That'd be cool. I'd really like that.
Even further, you can actually load yourself into a cannon and launch yourself directly onto an enemy ship to start close range combat with their deck. If that doesn't
Ragdoll. We
sound
probably
insane
shouldn't
to you, then
ragdoll.
I don't know what will. The actual combat damage system
Ooh,
on
gliders
ships
are gonna be
works
cool
through a
with that,
weak
yeah.
point mechanic. When you hit an enemy ship with cannon fire,
So it is gonna be
marker
like Sea of
appears
Thieves.
where you hit.
Cool.
Yellow marker first, that's 1 times
Let's go.
damage multiplier. You keep hitting the same spot and it turns orange. 2 times multiplier, hit it
But that's
again
even
and
better
it
than
goes
Sea of
red.
Thieves.
3 times multiplier, hit the red marker enough times and the ship sinks. So it's
Ooh,
not
the
just
ship
about spamming
sinks because
cannons
of
in all
that?
directions, it's about targeting the same weak point over and over, while the enemy shipwright is scrambling to repair it before it gets worse. The shipwright
That's cool.
uses a repair hammer to fix his markers mid-battle, which means in a big crew, someone literally has that as their full-time job during naval combat.
Yeah,
That's
as
how
I was
deep
saying,
crew
that'd be
roles in
really
Rell
cool.
Seas go. Speaking of crew, in battle mode, your NPC crew members will automatically load the cannons and fire at enemy ships for you.
NPC
So if you're
crew
playing solo,
members.
you're not completely helpless in ship combat. You have NPC operating your ship while you're doing character combat on deck. And if you have a real player crew, each person fills a role. Someone steering, someone repairing, someone on cannons, someone boarding
Yeah,
the
that's
enemy
gonna be
ship.
really cool.
Now, let's talk about customization, because this is the other thing most people don't realize about ships. Your ship has 6 stats: speed, armor, cannons, turn speed, ram strength, and health. You improve
Okay.
these stats by finding and equipping ship parts, which you get from blueprints earned through chests, bosses, and events. The parts you can equip include sails, cannons, mortar
I'm gonna
cannons,
want
steering wheel, the
speed
material
and
of the
armor.
hull, the bow at the front, and the midship section in the middle. Every single one of these affects how your ship performs. So 2 players with the same ship type can have completely different builds, depending on what parts they found and equipped.
Armor and
And
speed
beyond
are
the
probably gonna
stats,
be
the visual
opposites, so.
customization is on a completely different level. You access it through the ship builder, which actually transports you into a special editing room, where your
That's
ship
cool.
exists inside a tiny bottle. In there, you can change the color and the material of the hull, completely modify
cool.
the design of the sails,
I really
and
like
add
that.
decorative items across the ship. You can create 3 completely different layouts for your ship and switch between them. You can also place
Ooh.
cooking equipment like stoves directly on your ship, which connects to the cook talent
Alright.
and food buff system that I'll talk about later. Your ship is generally a floating base or even
Floating?
a restaurant that you build out
Oh,
over
because
time. Every crew in Rell Seas gets a unique name that no other crew can ever take. Once it's claimed, it's gone
Oh,
forever, and you
nice.
craft a
Alright.
completely custom Jolly Roger that gets displayed on your sails. So when you pull up on someone at sea, they see your crew's flag on your ship before they even see you. That would honestly
That's
be
so it's
Mihawk Aura.
presence,
It's
yeah,
also
that'd be
something
cool.
Blobsters has never
Wait, that'd
had
be
and
what?
probably never will. Now, outside
That'd be Did you just say that'd be Mihawk Aura?
plate on your sails. So when you pull up on someone at sea, they see your crew's flag on your ship before they even see you. That would honestly be Mihawk Aura. It's also something Blobsters has never had
would
and
be.
probably never will. Now, outside of PvP, while
And
you're
probably
sailing the
never
open
will, yeah,
seas,
true.
random events spawn around you. Sea beast battles, where massive creatures emerge from the ocean. Ship war events, where you
Cool.
fight multiple enemy ships for rewards. Marine war events, where admirals spawn and you have to fight them. These aren't pre-planned missions, they spawn
I think they're lowering down the value of admirals a little too much. Admirals should not be something you just normally see or are NPCs. I think they're lowering down what an admiral should mean. You look in One Piece, admirals are trusted by the 5 elders, they're trusted by Emu, they're trusted by like they're the symbol of what's fear. They're like nobody wants to touch the celestial dragons because they know an admiral's gonna come to them and beat their ass if they do. Like admirals or the like main opponents during Marineford. Like they should be way higher up than what I'm hearing from it right now.
dynamically based on where you are on the sea, which means every sailing session is genuinely unpredictable. And imagine being with your crew. Moving on, submarines. Submarines are completely separate vehicles. You spawn from a cola bottle,
Cool.
and they exist for one specific
Cola
purpose: accessing the 7 sea depths. The depths are only reachable in C4, and each one has its own unique ocean current.
I can't lie. I think I'm gonna be like Law on my main ships, just gonna get summer.
unique marine life, and exclusive bosses and locations that you literally cannot reach any other way. Your submarine has a weapon
I wonder if Polar Tang's taken. Ooh, I wonder if things like Thousand Sunny or like Going Merry are gonna be like automatically taken. You can't get them. Like Victoria Punk's just gonna be auto taken. I think it'd be really cool if I can immediately try to surge into the game as quick as I can, try to get a crew or a boat as quick as I can, and name it like being Straw Hat Pirates or like the Heart Pirates, and then like Polar Tang or Thousand Sunny. That'd be cool. I wonder how quick people are gonna try to do that. mm, I think that'd be cool though.
mounted on the front, meaning you
All
can
right.
fight sea bosses and enemy players underwater in the submarine itself. Regular ships will most likely also be able to access the depths if they're coated, just like in One Piece. But
All
even
right.
with a coated ship or a submarine,
It's
if
gonna
you
be
stay
cool
down
when
there too
ships are
long, the
coded.
pressure eventually kills you. Overall, one of my favorite systems in the entire game. A lot of you guys wanted me to
That's
talk about
cool.
crews, because honestly this might be
I
the
want to
most
see the
exciting part
transponders
of
still.
RLCs for a lot of people.
But
And before I
iceberg.
get into it, join my crew through the Discord link in the description and pinned comment. So what do we actually know? First thing, every crew gets a unique name that is locked the moment it's created. Nobody else in the entire game can ever use that name again. So on day 1, the race to claim your crew name is gonna be massive. There's also 3 distinct types of
Yeah.
crews in the
Here's the thing. Whatever crew I start or I'm on, um, it's not gonna be that like it's not gonna be that much of a race because like I'm either gonna be in there day one and try to get Aurora, which would be mine, or Indra, which would be mine, or like yeah, if I get in there quickly and get that, it would be mine. There's not gonna be a lot of hype over like Indra, for example. And then if that's taken, I'm gonna get Ariolu. So I know Ariolu's not gonna be taken. I'm so I'm not gonna be worried.
game, your player crew, the people you actually sail with, your NPC ship crew, the crewmates that live on your ship, fire your cannons, and keep your ship running even when you're solo. And then event crews, faction-based crews that spawn in during 40 plus world events across the seas, which you can interact with or align with. And then there's crew wars, where crews can invade and battle each other directly. But honestly, even beyond the in-game systems, the players are the ones who are going to be creating the real lore. Imagine full crew versus crew ship battles with custom ships. That would honestly go hard. Something no
Please, 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 please. I just thought about this. Please eliminate the idea of common, uncommon, rare, epic, or legendary or mythical fruits. Eliminate them. Eliminate the entire idea of it. I hope Rell doesn't have that. I hate the gotcha based, oh, this fruit's just way better. Oh, this fruit's rare and it's better. Like, in One Piece, all fruits are just like in 3 categories: Paramecia, Logia, and Zoan. That should be it. That's it. Obviously, there's like mythical and ancient Zoans, because like, there's like different types of Zoans. But like, it shouldn't be super effective. That's the only thing that you could make it like, oh, this one's rarer and better, is if like, ancient and then mythical Zoans. That's it. I think beyond that, like, you shouldn't have, oh, Spike is really bad, so it's going to be common. Oh, but then the same Paramecia, which is like, what's a good Paramecia? Oh, Dough. Or technically Mochi. Let's saying that like Mochi slash Dough is like legendary or mythical or like epic or whatever, and then saying that like Spike is common. I just don't think it's fair. I think it should be fully dependent on the user, and they should all be given an equal chance. I don't think one should be immediately better. They should all have like their different bonuses, things they're better at than other things. One thing just shouldn't be entirely better. I want to be able to see people get to top 3 and roll people using spin. I want to be able to see that. I think that'd be cool. I I just want I want the fruits to be equal. I want them to like the only separate thing there is I think that ancient and mythicals for Zoans should be above normal Zoans, and that normal Zoans should be really common. That's the only exception. The only exception to that rule. And I think mythical and ancient Zoans should be relatively equal to the other fruits still. I think that all fruits would be able to serve different purposes. And like not all things should be specifically for PvP. Like maybe there's like a healing fruit that's for healers. Maybe there's like who knows, like I'm gonna start saying random stuff. There's like a door fruit in One Piece, and maybe not specifically for PvP. You know how like Portal and Box Fruits isn't specifically for PvP, but people use it for PvP. You could do it like that. Maybe it's like the ride fruit that you see in Egghead when the Vice Admirals use to control a pacifista and like sea beast weapons. Something like that, not specifically for PvP. I don't think like all of them should specifically be for PvP. Oh yeah, for mythical zones, it's any sort of god should be limited to devs and content creators. I feel like that goes without saying, but I feel like it'll ruin the game if people can normally get Sun God Nika. I I feel like that'll ruin it. If people can just normally pull out one of the 5 Elders fruits, I feel like that'll ruin the entire game instantly. In an instant. Alright, I'll keep playing it though.
Nobody's talking about is the wildlife system. Every island in Rell
Oh, it's
Seas
gonna
has its
have
own
wildlife?
wildlife,
Ooh,
aka
that's cool.
creatures. Action-based crews that spawn in during 40 plus world
What?
events across the seas.
What happened?
In the game, which means ocean. There's a big variety and battle each other directly. But honestly, even beyond the in-game systems, the players are the ones who are going to be
Okay.
creating the real lore.
Wait, I'm
Imagine
confused.
full crew versus crew ship battles with custom ships. That would
Wait, what happened to... What happened to the... I want to hear about the animals. What happened?
into it. Join my crew through the Discord. On day 1, the race to claim your crew name is going to be and keep your ship running even when you're solo. And then event crews, faction-based crews that spawn in crew ship battles with custom. Every island in Rell Seas has its own wildlife, aka creatures living on land and in the ocean. There's a big variety of them. Some are hostile, some aren't, some might even be scared of you based on
like,
your
I'll
power.
see if he is
Each
this.
one drops unique materials and meat used in
Or
crafting and cooking. But the big thing here is that some wildlife can be tamed. The devs confirm taming is in the game, which means on top of the mounts from boss.
It's gonna be really cool if there's already like hundreds of different islands, or like there's generative islands that just like appear, like with chance, as you just like sell. And then there's like main story like islands. You know how like Raft does? Just make a super advanced version of that, because obviously Raft is really simple. Just make a really cool big version of that with hundreds of different islands, maybe tens of different islands, different biomes, different animals, different climates. You can even make it like generate different things. It'd be so cool. Just like as you sell. And then obviously you can have like story islands that are specific. Like obviously the Red Line should be in the same area. Places like Alabaster, Skypiea should be in the same area. I think that'd be cool. Like Impel Down, say I would obviously be in the same area no matter what the server. Just like main or story islands like that.
Drops, you might be able to catch a creature on an island, make it your mount. Fishing in Rell Seas is not a side activity. It's a full progression system with its own talent tree, its own minigame, and its own completion goal. To fish in Rell
Cool.
Seas, you need a rod and bait. There's multiple tiers of both, and better
They're
gear lets you catch rare
overdoing some
species.
of
The
these.
actual fishing uses an active minigame where you have to keep a moving diamond underneath a fish icon until a progress bar fills up.
You don't need to do all of this. The fishing rod was a little over-designed, and the bar for it is a little over-designed, and I feel like a lot of things are gonna be over-designed. Ooh, there's a parry meter and an evade meter. I'm happy. Ooh, there's gonna be an evade meter and a parry meter. Ooh, you're gonna be able to parry stuff. I was right. Oh, that's cool. That's so cool. Thank you. Thank you, Rell Seeds. You're giving me hope.
The moment it drops beneath the fish, you lose it. And the rarer fish you accidentally catch, the harder the minigame gets. So it scales in difficulty
Poor
based on the
catch.
catch. Your overall goal is to complete the fishing deck.
Look
A
at
full
that fish's head! What happened to it?
catalog of every catchable species in the game. People are speculating the max fishing progression is 500 points, earned through catching fish, hunting sea wildlife, and completing the decks itself. And fish aren't just trophies. Certain rare catches give you materials for crafting powerful items and upgrades, and some fish are ingredients for specific high-level meals that your cook can't make any other way. But fishing is actually just one of the 4 dexes in the game, and most people don't know the others exist. There's the recipe dex, which tracks every meal you've learned to cook, giving you XP and money each time you discover a new one. The materials dex tracks every resource you've ever collected, and then the adventure dex, which is the most interesting one. It tracks the quality of life of different parts of the map and shows you the temperature of different areas. That temperature system is essentially how weather works in Rell Seas. Different zones have different climate conditions that are going to affect the gameplay in ways we'll only.
I think the cookbook should only happen if your character is like a cook, like that's the class that goes the cook. And the like island tracker should only happen if the character goes navigator.
Fully understand once the game is actually out, but the fact that it's tracked in the dex means it's a real
I like all the
system, not
islands
just a visual effect.
That's like
Another very
Crossbelts
interesting thing in Rell Seas I've never actually talked about before is a Den Moshi. And don't say I'm LARPing. In Rell Seas, you carry a talking snail as a utility item. You can open it up, call any other player from anywhere on the map using either text or Roblox voice chat, and the snail actually moves its mouth to mimic talking. I know it sounds like a small thing, but it's shocking that this is gonna be in a Roblox game. In addition to that, the Rell Seas parkour is gonna be insane. The movement system in Rell Seas is wall jumping, wall climbing, and wall running built in, which means island exploration and even PvP combat on land is gonna go crazy.
This is like
combined
Naruto,
with Gappo from Rokushiki and even paragliding. The movement
Was
potential in this game is
Shield
insanely high. Last thing, mounts, and these are more interesting than people think. Mounts in Rell Seas are split into 3 classes: terrestrial for land, aerial for sky, and aquatic for water. Some mounts cover multiple classes at once, so a single mount can work both on land and in the air. And certain mounts are confirmed to have actual combat capabilities, meaning your mount isn't just for moving around, it can actually fight alongside you. The most exciting ones are the boss drop mounts. Defeating certain bosses gives you the option to tame them as a rideable mount. The dragon, for example, which has been reworked 3 to 4 times during development, is both aerial and terrestrial, meaning you can fly across the sky and land on islands on the back of a dragon. The kraken is the aquatic mount, one of the strongest underwater travel options in the game. And beyond boss drops, there's wildlife tamed mounts, like the deers, tigers for land travel, and some mounts tied to Discord supporter tiers. The mount system also connects back to the wildlife taming mechanic I mentioned earlier. Some of the creatures you encounter on islands can potentially be tamed and ridden, which means your mount could be something completely unique to you, depending on what you find and where you explore.
I'm already gonna go
Overall,
Phoenix.
that's
I've made up
genuinely
my mind. I'm
all
probably
the
just gonna
systems
be a
people
Phoenix.
skip over. All the stuff
I
that
might go
gets
swimming
buried the
else. I haven't
second someone
played yet.
mentions.
I haven't played the game yet, so I don't know what I'm gonna go. But I'm assuming I'm gonna go Phoenix, and I'm gonna be like either a doctor captain or be a doctor on another ship. That was the plan. We'll see though. It could change, but if I do that, then hey, mounts aren't going to be useful for me.
Devil fruits or hockey. These aren't side systems. I'm talking about crews, ships, factions, wildlife crafting, submarines. This is probably the most interesting and important part of the game, and the people who understand all of this before launch are going to be miles ahead of the ones who didn't. But if you made it to the end, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. That's a really cool. Ooh, that made me happy. Let me just like let me let all of that sink in right quick. Ooh, that's really cool. You could see like the hockey thing as well. I want to see this. God, it's so laggy.
One Piece has been running for almost 30 years, and in that time, it became one of the most popular anime of all
It
time,
is,
with one
yeah.
of the most unique power systems ever created, and a
Yeah.
world so massive most games don't even dare to recreate it. And the ones that do, they put out the most grindy slop you've ever played
Yeah,
in your
for
life.
real.
Rell Seas is the one Roblox game I actually believe can get One Piece right, because
I'm
Rell Games
hoping.
has been building this thing for 3+ years,
I thought
and
it
the
was longer.
systems they've confirmed and the sneaks we've seen over the years actually line up with One Piece better than most games even come close to. So today, I'm not breaking down fruits, haki, or any individual system. I've done all of that already. What I want to talk about is the specific One Piece content that Rell Seas absolutely cannot mess up. The stuff that's already been confirmed, and the One Piece things that genuinely need to be in the game. Because if they're not, I'd honestly be disappointed. So subscribe if you want to be a part of the Cruselli gang. Let's start with Devil Fruits. Now, I know what you're thinking. We already covered this. We know there's 30 plus confirmed. We know there's no
Here's my
gacha system. And we
Phoenix.
do know you actually have to go and find them in the world with a shovel. That alone separates
That's
RLCs from
cool.
every other One Piece Rebels game,
Hey,
where
why
you're
a
just standing and
shovel?
praying
What
for
about trees
dragon
and
every
stuff?
time. But here's what I recently started thinking about. The thing every One Piece game messes up. Awakenings. In One Piece, awakenings aren't just power-ups. They completely change how the fruit works at a fundamental level. Though Flamingo's awakening didn't just make his strings stronger, it turned the entire city into strings.
Yeah, you're
Luffy's
able to
Gear
control
5th
other
didn't just
things.
make him hit harder. It turned him
You're able
into
to
a literal
control the
cartoon
world around
character who
you.
bends reality around him based on imagination alone. It
Luffy's is a bad example. Luffy is like you'd think of it as rubber. If you use its awakening like other fruits, you think of it as rubber. You'd be forced to, but that's not what it is. Until it's awakened, you just get the basic physical properties of the Nika. You just get like your body is like stretchy, made of rubber, absorbent as rubber. That's how wow he was able to do all of that. And I'm assuming a rubber fruit wouldn't exist normally because it's man-made. Be weird. Well, to be fair, the arms fruit's weird as hell too. But like, ignoring that, um, also because like Nika already has it. Um, and then like it doesn't actually awaken. The form doesn't actually awaken. You're not able to actually become it until it is awakened. But like things like Law's awakening and Kid's awakening, Doflamingo's awakening, those are good examples, right? When you're able to like turn other things, like Alkiji's has awakened ice. Those are good examples. You can turn other things into that. Like Law was able to like when fighting Blackbeard, he was able to make a room far away from him. When fighting Big Mom, he was able to like manipulate it to just be on his sword and extend it. Kid was able to like magnify only specific things. You saw that during the Big Mom fight as well. Only like he was able to put like I don't know if it was positive or negative on Big Mom and then attach her to a building, make her fly towards it. They are able to control other things. Doflamingo was able to turn entire buildings into string that he could control. They were able to control the world outside of it. That's pretty much what it did.
it's as if in the anime it's a
Making it stronger, just like how Blox Fruits does, just like giving it a boost and making the attack stronger, just like it's so sloppy. It just doesn't do it justice.
completely different fruit rather than a stat upgrade. Now, we don't have confirmation that awakenings are even in RLCs, but if they are, and they just make you deal more damage, that would be lazy. What I'd actually want to see
I would rather them not add them than them make them do more damage. Like, for example, how Blox Fruits has awakenings, I would rather them make the awakened version be the default version and then remove the old versions of them, the non-awakens. I would rather them do that than keep how they are.
Is a full moveset change on Awakenings. New abilities that are actually true to the anime, obviously without getting copyright struck. Imagine Gear 5, Katakuri and Lucci in one game. Now, not sure how you would get an
Katakuri is a good example too. I didn't even think of that.
Awakening, but hopefully
Oh yeah. I don't even know what awakened Zoans are supposed to like. Lucci and Kaku? I don't even know, like, I'm pretty sure they literally did just get stronger. It's like, I don't even know what their awakenings did.
it's not just a level requirement, but something that's actually hard to get. The second thing I think will be really tough is the fruits interacting with the actual environment.
Yeah,
Not just players in the
this is
NPCs, but
needed.
the actual map. Aokiji froze the entire ocean. Whitebeard cracked the ground across Marineford with one hit. If your flame
Yeah,
or
this
ice
is
fruit in
required.
Rell Seas is only affecting the person standing in front of you, it wouldn't feel real. And to be fair, we do know
Yeah,
you can freeze the ground with the ice fruit. You can leave tracks, and you can literally summon a tsunami. But I do wonder if it goes further than
alright.
that. Does it destroy trees, break rocks, or does it deal any environmental damage? Obviously, full JJ.
I want to be able to shoot a building, and the hole through the building appears on both sides and maybe keeps going through other buildings and goes directly, like it actually makes an actual hole. I want it to like make a whole weird attack, not destroy the building, not like ragdoll it, not unanchor it, like make a hole through that building. If I'm using fire, it could add melt marks as well. Who knows? If it's like I'm using ice, it can like freeze the areas it pierced. I think that'd be really, really, really cool. If I'm using light on like a cliff or something, like a light beam, it should be able to carve into the cliff, like not just like add a texture there or like add a little asset or sticker there. Like actually physically carve into it where you can like crawl into it and climb off of. That'd be really cool. If you're able to actually burn down trees with fire and actually watch them fall and like smoke up and turn black, that'd be cool. That would be really cool.
As destruction physics, we kill the optimization on an RPG, but still, I think it'd be really cool. Now, Logias. This one matters, specifically in Rell Seas. Logia being
Yeah,
untouchable needs to actually mean something. In
Blocks Fruits did a horrible for Logias. I hate how they did Logias. Like Logias being Logias doesn't matter. One of the coolest parts of being a Logia in One Piece is your body is actually made of that. Kizaru is untouchable pretty much. That's one of the reasons why only Rayleigh could really compete with him and Sabaody. He was literally untouchable. You remember, like, I'm pretty sure it was like after Long Ring Long Island, just a little bit before they went to Water 7, like, they fought Aokiji. Like, Luffy cracked him in pieces, but he's a Logia. They couldn't do anything against him, no matter what. I don't know why I'm using these guys as examples. Let's talk about Inaru. Let's talk about Sky Island. That guy was a god. That guy was invincible. He was immune to everything. The only reason Luffy was able to hit him is because he's made of rubber. Or a rubber-like substance. His like body is rubberish. That's the only reason. I think it would be really cool if they actually implement Logias like how Logias are. And blocks fruits, if anyone's a higher level than you, they can still hit you. If anyone's using Haki, which every NPC in the game past the first world does, and every player pretty much always has it on, they can hit you. I think it should be like actual. I think getting armament Haki should be something that's a challenge, moderately challenging. I think if you are a Logia user, you should be generally immortal. I don't care about the balancing of it. Just make Logias really rare like how they are in One Piece. If someone is given a like fire fruit at level 1 by their friend, they should be immortal and be able to grind freely, not having to worry about getting hit for a while. Screw how unfair it would be at the start. Forget about it. Who cares? Keep it true. Because like later on, that's going to be perfect. It's going to make it perfect. Middle game and end game, it's going to make it perfect. It would give Logias the advantage they actually deserve and what they actually are. Because that's what they're made out of. They should have that immunity. If you slash a sword through someone made of light, it should go directly through. Or if they choose to be cut in half to make it look like that, they should be able to attach their body instantly.
One Piece, and it was basically untouchable because nobody around
I
him
hate people that call it Naruto. Anyways, though.
knew Haki. If anybody in Rell sees can just M1 a Logia user without Haki from the start, that doesn't really line up with the anime at all. That said, I don't think Rell sees should be fully anime accurate on this either.
I
Because
think they
early
should.
game where nobody has Haki yet, Logias would be just the meta, and PvP would be completely unbalanced.
At the start. Only at the start. Players, most players, I say most because like some are obviously not going to go directly for PvP. Some are going to be like passive doctors or like passive shipwrights or cooks and mainly focus that or like just so they can focus on those talents instead. But like most players are going to go for armament hockey. I think if you don't get it, that's unfortunate. You can't attack them. That's unfortunate. That sucks. You should have gotten it. It's going to be the easiest hockey to learn. By the time you get really strong, you should be able to get it. It shouldn't be hard to get by the time your character becomes really strong. It shouldn't be hard to get at all. It's something you should think about going for. Obviously, it's armament hockey. Should be the easiest type of hockey to get. I think it would make Logias fair. It would make Logias actually feel like Logias. Because if you don't, then it won't actually feel like a Logia. You have to go there. That's what I think. I think you have to.
So I'm genuinely curious how they make it work. And lastly,
Exactly how I said. You genuinely do make it make them immortal pretty much, unless the opponent is using armament or something that counteracts them, like how rubber does to lightning, how fire could to ice, things like that.
Mythical zones. I saved this for last because these are clearly
Yeah,
the highest tier in Rell Seas. In the anime, Mark
don't make them the highest tier. Honestly, genuinely, they probably should be actually. Remember what I was talking about, like with ancient and mythical zones just being above normal zones, and then like normal zones being a little bit below the average, and then like mythical and what's it called, ancient zones being like equal to the rest. I think I think all of them should be generally equal for different things. Like for example, if someone's using like a Valken or Cheetah fruit, then they should be better than most fruits for speed. Just like as an example, like better than like Doe or like Quake, which would obviously be really good. I think that'd make it fair. But like at the same time, if we're gonna say what should be the best, what should be like that, I think it should go like Zoans, normal Zoans at the bottom. It should be the most common, just like in One Piece. Pretty generic, pretty basic. You're literally able to replicate it via smile. It's pretty basic, pretty simple, you know? Maybe if you're like Rob Lucci or something and you're built different, you can make it work, but you know. And then above that, you have Paramecias. Some Paramecias are really cool. You can awaken them. The awakenings for Paramecias are really good. You can make them like above a lot of things. They have a lot of potential. But like normally they're like a little slightly below. And then you have competing at the same tier like Ancient Zoans and Logias. I think that'd be, you know, a good category to put there. Just like as like I don't know, like a place epic. Where it's just like straightforward. But like, you know, Awakening Paramecius would be like better or comparable on average. And then Mythical Zoans would be slightly above it, but still really comparable to the other ones. They'd have like downsides, obviously, just like all things should, and like upsides, but like generally they should be super rare. They should be the rarest of the rare, and then be above the rest. Like on average at least. That's how I see it. I think all of them should be like balanced out though. I don't think one thing should be like way above, but
Marcus Phoenix is genuinely broken, and Kaido's dragon form
not broken.
controls the weather. Mythical zone.
his energy like goes down so quick. It doesn't have much offensive capability. I wouldn't call it broken, but it is really good. Kaido's fruit is really good though. Oh god, Kaido's.
Aren't just animal transformations. They come with abilities that are completely outrageous. We
Yeah.
haven't seen move showcases for Dragon or even Phoenix in Relseas yet, but I really hope that when we do, they match the same energy from the anime. Okay, so Relseas confirmed the Haki card system. There's 6
Ooh,
slots
they
you
are
can
doing
mix from any
cards.
type of Haki, and each card has either a passive or an active ability. On
Those
paper,
are
that
all
sounds really
observation
cool.
or,
The
or
problem
conquer.
is,
Where's
it might
Armament?
end up simplifying Haki depending on how easy
Excuse
the
me.
cards are to get. Let me explain what I mean. In
This
the
is what he's
anime,
worried about, but
observation
nothing
Haki
else,
future
by the way.
sight isn't something you just unlock. Kadakuri spent decades mastering it. Decades. He trained to the point where he could
There should be different levels, yeah. Basic observation hockey should be able to let you see like some events or like what's going on through walls, or like be able to like just like see basic movement, have like basic foresight, I guess. But then to get to Katakuri's level, all right. Here's the thing. Realistically, in a video game, this is impossible to do. So this is how I'm gonna put this. Once you train it, if you focus observation hockey, you can kind of like do something similar to like how observation advanced is in Blox Fruits. You can see the opponent's like abilities. You might even be able to see their cooldowns. You can see their health. You can see their stamina, things like that. But normal observation, you should just be able to see where people are, like see what events are about to happen. It should show you things like that. Like you should be able to see people from far away. Maybe like see something basic. Maybe their health if you stretch it a little bit. And then like advanced should be harder to get. You should have to sacrifice things for it, and it should do that. That's what I think.
see multiple seconds into the future, and even
You
then, it
you
wasn't
physically
perfect.
cannot do that in a video game. In PvP at least. You literally could not make it have actual foresight, unfortunately. It would be really cool. And that'd be a great feature if it wasn't completely broken. But
That's not something that should honestly come from buying a card or hitting a level requirement. It should
that's
be
cool.
harder.
They were making clones. I could see the observation doing that as well. Conqueror's Hockey should just like it's gonna be really cool to see what they do with Conqueror's Hockey. It should just like boost the power of a lot of things. It should maybe be specific to captains or like really high up people. Like we'll see. It should be like really hard to get, like maybe rare, maybe be like we'll see. I think it should like superpower your attacks, be able to knock out weaker foes or people way lower level than you. It should like give you presence. It should be like the aura you have. It should be like it's your emotion, like how it is in One Piece.
To get, because in the anime, very few people actually even have observation haki that's developed enough to matter. If Rell sees let's
I was about to say, a lot of people in One Piece have observation hockey, but enough to matter, yeah.
every new player get a future sight card in the first hour and suddenly they're dodging everything, the entire weight of that ability disappears.
That's the best you could do for foresight. I forgot about that. Another part of advanced observation you can do would be like dodges like that, yeah. It's pretty basic. It's pretty much the exact same stuff Blox Fruits does, but yeah. That's probably is the best you could do for observation.
Which we don't want. Second is armament, and the visual for this one matters more than people think. The black coating spreading across your fist or your blade mid-fight is one of the most iconic images.
I like how it did it for its like upper arms, shoulders, and legs, but not its hands. Okay. Here's something about armament hockey I think it should get right. It should not affect weapons or in any way other than like, you know, maybe being able to like hit people that have Logia. That's it. It should, other than that, it really shouldn't affect weapons in any way, and it shouldn't make them actually go black, unless they are specifically a sword user, maybe specifically not using a fruit, just to balance it out for sword users so they actually stand a full chance, so it's actually fully balanced for them. I think it should only, like, you know how in One Piece, making your blade go black with hockey is supposed to be like, it's supposed to be like really cool. It's supposed to be like, shows how good a sword user is. shows like their skill, shows that they're really good with it. I think it should be like that. I don't think they should just like let people do that with swords just because they're good at using armament normally. There should be like different forms of it, like weapon armament. It should be like, yeah, weapon armament, maybe like bullet armament slash like projectile armament, like basic armament, advanced armament, which is just for your body still. There should be like an advanced like sword armament, just like different, just like different things like that.
In all of One Piece. But I'm actually curious if they're going to include advanced armament haki, because in the anime that's a completely different level. Instead of coating
Here's what I think advanced armament hockey should be. On a sword, it should bypass all defense, all resistance, all defense that a person might have. Anything for that. And same on fighting styles. And honestly, you can't really like. Yeah, that's it. It would just be for fighting styles and swords, wouldn't it? I don't think advanced armament hockey should work on roots or anything. I think only normal hockey should work on that, and for projectiles as well. I think advanced armament should. It only makes sense to work on close range things like fighting styles and like light, heavy, medium weapons. It doesn't make sense to work on projectiles or fruits. So I think it should require high mastery with whatever you're using, and it should just completely or almost completely negate any resistance or defense the user has that you're fighting. For example, if I'm a sword user and I'm fighting someone using like a diamond fruit or a dragon fruit or a turtle fruit, something like that, that gives them like a lot of resistance, I should be able to crack straight through that. You see Zoro do this, for example. Just because of how good he is at using a sword, he was able to like learn how to use a sword properly well. He was able to like master armament hockey pretty well. You saw him use this against Kaido, against King. He was able to cut through just because of like how good he is at using armament hockey and how good of a sword user he is. It should be like that. You should be able to cut straight through.
the outside, you're pushing the haki through the target from the inside. That's way more powerful in the anime, and if Rell includes it, in a way, it needs to look enhanced from the original. Now, Conqueror's haki.
Normal hockey should be black, and advanced armament hockey should have like a tint on it. You know how in Blox Fruits you have aura colors? That should be specifically for advanced armament hockey, and normally it should just like be your body going black. Because this is what happens in One Piece as well. That it's like, it's orange, or like green, or like red or blue, depending on who's using it. Like, it just like, I don't know, I've seen it be different colors, or at least I'm pretty sure it has. I've mostly seen it be in orange though. But like, it should pretty much be what aura is. It should look pretty much like what aura is in Blox Fruits. Otherwise, like, as I said, basic should just be black.
This is the one with the most interesting confirmed details. The wiki says it can stun people, knock out weaker players,
yeah, that's cool.
Fuse it into your fists as a stronger version.
Yeah, that's cool. Wait. Wait, I want to go back right quick a few seconds. That was like what Shanks did in Wano.
Stun people, knock out weaker players, infuse it into your fist.
It's like what Shanks did in Wano to Greenbow. That'd be so cool. Imagine you can send out beams of Conqueror's Haki or specifically control it like that. That'd be so cool. That'd be so cool.
As a stronger version of armament, and even disable Devil Fruit modes entirely. The
That's
last part
cool.
is massive if it's real. But
that was an Ancient Zoan dude. That's so cool. Ooh, that's so cool. It's gonna be so cool to see like sword users with Haki just like have such a big advantage. Ooh, that would balance out like mythical zones as well. Because you have Haki to balance out like armament Haki to balance out Logia types. You could have Conqueror's Haki to balance out Zoans. Paramecia's would take like skill and progress to get it awakened, and then that'd be its potential. That'd be so cool. I'd really like that. That's ooh, that's cool. That's hyping me up.
What I actually want to see is conqueror clashes between players.
You see in One Piece as well, like all the strongest people are strong because of their hockey. Whitebeard wasn't strong because of his fruit. His hockey and strength were just like that good. Gold Roger and Shanks are that powerful mostly because they're hockey. They're great at using hockey, amazing at it. That's why. Kaido is mostly that strong because of his hockey. You see Luffy being really strong in physical combat, because he's like he's rubber properties, so he's able to absorb a lot without feeling a lot, and it also like makes him be able to like obviously get energy to like from stretching out his arms and stuff to like do impacts. But it's mostly his hockey. He's good at using hockey too. A lot of the strongest characters are like that, or are carried somewhat by hockey because like that's pretty much how it works in One Piece. It's hard to explain unless you watch. So I do think hockey should be like a really big part. Like it should be bigger than any sort of fighting style. It should be bigger than like your fruit. It should be like the main thing.
Imagine two players with Max Conqueror Saki
Yeah,
bumping
this would
at
be
the same
cool.
time before a fight. There will be a lot of VFX and lightning cracking across the sky, and everybody that's spectating just getting stunned or knocked down just from the overflow of Haki. That would be so much aura, and it
That'd
would
be
hit
cool.
even harder if Conquerors was actually difficult to get. So not everybody is walking around with it, because in One Piece that's exactly what a Conqueror's clash looks like. When Luffy and Kaido clashed, the black lightning was everywhere. Characters nearby literally got dropped without even getting touched. So if Rell can recreate that, where two top players
Cool.
fighting each other actually affects everybody around them with Haki, that would honestly make for a crazy clip. Lastly, all three Haki types need to actually mean something different in how you play. Observation should make you evasive and reactive, hard to hit and hard to read. Armament should make your offensive and defensive game genuinely stronger in a way that's actually useful. Conquerors should give you presence before the fight even starts. If all three just blend together into whoever has the highest stat wins, the whole philosophy of One Piece built around Haki would be completely destroyed and would make the game meaningless like
I agree.
Bloodstreets. Onto the part of RLCs that has the potential to be the most fun.
The only thing in Blocks Fruits, hockey-wise, that I think they did well is observation. And I think how some moves insta-break it is kind of unfair. I can easily go into how unfair they made Dragon for this, because I was about to bring up how it's M1's insta-break it, but like, I'm not going to sit here and rant about how broken Dragon is and how they destroyed their game. So I'll just say that they didn't do any form of hockey good. Observation, they did alright, and there's not much more you could do with it anyways. Armament, they did like they just could have done it better, and then they didn't even attempt Conquerors.
Part of the whole game, factions. As you know from my previous videos, Rell has 4 confirmed factions:
Yeah.
Marine Corps, Pirate Council, World Seas Government, and the Arms of Revolution. 4 very different factions that pretty much all hate each other, I'm not gonna lie. But here's the thing about One Piece faction system that most games completely ignore. The Yonko weren't just powerful players with a big bounty. Their crews were massive armies, thousands of players operating under one name. For example, joining Whitebeard Pirates meant you were under the umbrella of one of the most powerful forces in the world, which came with protection.
I think Yonkos, I'm gonna call them emperors. I don't want to call them the Japanese name. I'm used to the English version. I think the emperors, just like the admiral, should be decided by tournaments, massive tournaments, or they should be decided by it being chosen by devs or YouTubers, or be those devs or YouTubers. I think it should be the best of the best. Like, absolute best of the best. Everybody knows them. They have to have presence. They have to actually be popular. This is why I say it has to be a tournament, a dev, or a content creator. It has to be, like, known. They have to be actively feared. People, if someone under that crew joins, they have to know, ooh, this guy's a part of them. This guy, like, rolls with them. It would, like, give that presence. It would, like, give that aura. It's the same thing I was saying about an admiral. It should, like, it should actually have that weight. It should actually have that presence. It shouldn't just be something you unlock.
And a reputation that followed you everywhere you went. A brand new crew member of a Yonko was still feared just because of who they represented. If Rell's factions just end up being team labels like in Bloxroots, basically red versus blue, that wouldn't even be on the level of what One Piece built. Factions need political weight. Joining the
One
Marine
Piece is
Corps should mean you're
so much gray
automatically an
area.
enemy of the revolutionaries, including every NPC and every island under their control. It should affect how the entire Rell Seas world reacts to you, who hunts you, who helps you, what island you can even dock at. The 40 NPC crews with
Fair,
dynamic
yeah.
events is honestly one of the most underrated confirmed features in this game. I talked about this before. The way it works is you're just sailing or walking around and you get hit with a random event, and you can choose which crew you help or whether you help nobody at all, and that choice affects your progression and your standing in the world. Every island basically has its own power structure, its own rules, and your faction determines how all of it interacts with you. That's what the Grand Line actually feels like in the anime. The
Yeah.
Arms of Revolution is the most interesting out of all the four, because in One Piece the revolutionaries weren't pirates, neither the government. They were their own force, actively trying to dismantle the entire world government structure. If Rell Seas treats this as a neutral middle option for players who don't want to pick a side, I feel like that would be a waste of what the faction system could be. Revolutionaries should be the hardest faction to play. Marines don't like them, the world government doesn't like them, most pirates don't even like them. You're basically at war with everyone. And then
Most pirates don't care about them. Most pirates in One Piece live free and dislike everybody because they feel like most people are against them. Honestly, revolutionaries are probably the most passive towards them. Or, I mean, the pirates are probably the most passive towards the revolutionaries. That's what I'd assume. They have a common interest, they have a common goal, and it's not like it's a distrustworthy thing like a pirate. They know, oh, Revolutionary Army. They're not against us, they're against the Marines, and they're like not out for treasure or to like betray. That's what I'd assume. We haven't really had direct confrontation between them, to use as an example, other than Blackbeards, which they just wanted to suck up to the government to get stuff. But like, that's my example. I think the Revolutionary Army shouldn't be the hardest thing to play where you're the most hated. A pirate should be. A pirate should be feared. Like once you get like a decent bounty, like NPCs should fear you, not want to talk to you. Marines should be after you. In One Piece, plenty of islands, most islands actually are under government or nation authority that's under the government. So like there should be fear, there should be like panic, there should be oh there's pirates coming to take us over or anything like that. I think that's how it should work. I don't think because they're more hidden. If you arrive somewhere, people shouldn't automatically know, oh, this guy's a revolutionary, unless you're like a captain or like the chief of staff or the leader of it. They shouldn't immediately know, unless you're a higher rank in it, unless you have like notoriety in it. They shouldn't immediately know. It should be more of a secret thing. You should be mostly treated as a civilian. That's how I see it.
there's the World Seas government, basically Cypherpol from One Piece. The wiki describes them as a corrupt faction, which
Yeah.
means there's gonna be moral choice built into this game. Most likely, you can play as a genuinely corrupt officer, or you can possibly be on the writer side. I don't think any Roblox game has ever let you do that properly. For example, in Bloxroot, you don't do anything different whether you're a marine or you're a pirate. You do the same thing to progress.
Yeah.
If the Rell Seas devs execute this well, the server politics could be completely unpredictable based on which faction different players choose, which is exactly what the One Piece world
Marines should do tasks. Genuinely, I think it should start with you being a civilian. That's first of all. You can join the Marines if you want. That would give you an XP bonus, and to level up, the main way to level up would be doing tasks, like going after pirate ships, doing like pirate raids, things like that. I think that would be the best for that. Maybe even turning in players that are pirates, like claiming their bounties, things like that. I think that'd be really cool. Um, and then as a pirate, it would just be like you're free. It shouldn't be quests. It shouldn't be killing specific enemies. It should actually stay true to what a pirate is in One Piece. We should be able to sell freely. As you find new islands, you can level up. As you complete, just like find new things, you level up. If you're like a cook and you cook new foods, it levels you up. Just like basic things. Just like that. Just like killing anything levels you up more. Everything should just like be able to normally level you up at a higher amount. There shouldn't be direct quests. There shouldn't be direct things like that. Maybe there could be a base story to go off of, but you should be able to make your own story. It shouldn't be quests. Excuse me. Revolutionary Army should probably be quests. I want to see how they would do the Revolutionary Army because we don't know much about them yet. It should probably be quests for like wiping out guards or like taking out nations or like I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do that. It'd be cool to see. I think it should be probably be mostly similar to Pirates though, where you can just like explore areas, but like it doesn't give you as much XP as a pirate does. Pirates should just get like more XP just by doing normal stuff, but they shouldn't have quests that they can do. Then quests like that Marines or Revolutionaries get do like more. Marine quests do the most. And then like Revolutionary Army quests do a little less than Marines, but it's still like better than normally grinding. But they should still get sufficient XP, like decent XP, just for doing normal stuff, like how pirates would do. And then I think world government, like if you're an agent, you should get almost no XP just from doing normal stuff, like exploring island to island. You should get almost nothing. In fact, you should be almost prohibited from doing that because you pretty much are under control. You work directly for the government at that point. You're a direct pawn. So what I think that should be is like that should be like the most XP you should get. You should be able to complete like direct government quests, and that gives you a bunch of XP. But it's harder to do, more advanced to do than compared to a marine quest. I think that's how it should be.
Feels like. The bounty system needs to tell a story. It
It
shouldn't just be a
does, yeah.
number that goes up when you kill players. In One
Yeah.
Piece, every bounty has a reason behind it. Luffy's first ever bounty was 30 million berries for defeating Arlong and liberating a town. The government wasn't necessarily scared of his strength. They were instead scared what he represented and how strong he could be. If Rell's bounty is just a kill
Yeah.
counter, that's leaving so much potential on the table.
They saw the D in his name. They saw that he was the son of Monkey D. Dragon, the grandson of Monkey D. Garp. They saw that he's rubbery like. They saw that he has the same straw hat that Shanks and Gold Roger had, and that Shanks was the one that stole the fruit that Luffy now appears to have, and that he's saying Gum Gum, which they named the fruit Gum Gum fruit to like, hide what it does from people. So yeah, I don't know why it was only 30 million, but should have been higher. But yeah, it wasn't just because of his strength.
The way I'd want it to work is you gain bounty based on which NPC crews you take down, and in PvP
That's
based on who
valid,
you
yeah.
eliminate and how big their crew is. And crew size should matter.
Your bounty should go off of whatever the hardest thing you do is. At a certain point, it should only go up off of because of like players, but it shouldn't go up off of just grinding players. It should like if you beat a player near your level, just like that has like less bounty than you, it shouldn't go up like at all. If it does, then barely at all. But if you kill someone or like wipe out a crew that has like double your bounty, it should go up like a bunch. And then if you lose to someone who has a lower bounty than you, it should go down a little. And you should go to Impel. That's how I think it should go. I think it should mostly scale off of your highest achievement, but it should also, like, smaller things should also be able to build up over time. I think it should mostly scale off of the biggest thing, though. That also make people want to hunt, like, bigger bounties, and bigger bounties actually do something. You know. It'd be really cool if something like Cross Guild exists in this, and you can do that with Marines as well. That'd be cool.
Because in the anime, becoming a Yonko means having something like 1,000 people under your name. I also think the higher your bounty, the worse your impel down sentence should be. You
Yeah.
get thrown into a lower floor, the more dangerous you are.
Having a high bounty should be a consequence. It should show your presence, it should show your aura, it should show how strong you are, how much you've done, but it should also have consequences.
You'd actually have to fight your way through every floor to escape, and certain islands should be completely faction locked. Marineford is marine territory, no pirates docking without getting jumped. The World Government Island, I would assume, requires actual
Marie-Joie shouldn't even be accessible normally. Getting up there and into like Marie-Joie, like taking the elevators up or flying up, should like genuinely have a blockade on the elevator that makes you physically not be able to get up there, even if you have the power and strength to take out everyone there. Or if you try to fly up, there should literally be a barrier you cannot get past that teleports you back out if you're somehow able to glitch through it. You genuinely should only be able to get there during specific events or if you're a government agent. Not even if you're a Marine. If you're a Marine, I think you'd have to be maybe Vice Admiral level, but probably just Admiral level. Maybe Vice Admiral, though. That's how I see it.
Clearance from the higher-ups to enter. Honestly, the potential of factions is insane. Imagine the player base actually recreating the Marineford as a live event. That would go crazy.
That'd be
On to
cool.
crew dynamics. This is the section where I think Rell sees the most potential to either be better than any other Robles game, or just be another crew system that nobody actually cares about after the first week. One Piece isn't really Devil Fruits or hockey at its core. It's about a crew where every single person has a role that actually matters.
Sure.
Nami is the navigator, Chopper is the doctor, Frankie built a ship, Usopp maintains it debatably. Every role has a function, and the crew only
Okay. He got that a little wrong. He said Usopp maintains it a little bit, or debatably. He did before Frankie came, and he did a mediocre job at it, and cried and left the crew because of it, because of a new ship, and because Frankie was there now. I would not call him a shipwright. He is not a shipwright. He hasn't been for like 800 episodes anyways. This guy is not a shipwright. Let's not pretend like he is. Let's not say Frankie just built the ship, because he's more than that. He is the shipwright as well. And why did he say that was Usopp's job? Usopp he's like the sniper. He's the sharpshooter. He's ranged guy. He's also for some reason really strong against broken Hack's abilities like Sugar's ability or Perona's ability, but then just falters against anyone else. It's pretty weird actually, but that's his purpose.
works as well as it does because of all of them working together. Rell sees, as you probably know, confirm the talent system where you progress by actually doing things, such as fishing, crafting, cooking, sailing, blacksmithing,
Yeah,
and
that's
even
cool.
navigating. That's pretty much the foundation. But the real question is whether crew roles actually create real dependency between
It
players,
should.
or
It
whether
really
everybody
should.
just picks whatever they want, and the roles are just basically just for roleplay, not matter.
I want their roles to actually matter a lot, change almost their entire story. Like I want it to be forced upon them that the captain is going to be like has an advantage just from being the captain. I want that to be forced, or like the vice captain as well. Like there should be an option for vice captain and captain. Like you can join someone's crew and not have a role, and you could be like just like a deckhand or a vice captain, and like you're roleless. You don't fill any of the roles, but you're able to have like that potential as well. You know, like how Rayleigh and Gabon are. I think it should be like that, or like how Odin is. Ah, or Zoro. I wouldn't really say he has a role. You can say he's a swordsman, but that's pretty much just what he does. It's not a role. Um, I think it should be like that though. I think it should massively change it. I don't think it should be for roleplay. I think it should lock other stuff. I think it should be massive, massive part of the game.
At all, like in most games, I'm gonna be honest. Based on everything
I think if you're like a cook, for example, it should give you a little bit of a disadvantage, like combat wise. If you're a shipwright, it should give you a little bit of a disadvantage combat wise. If you're nav, like, I can go on. Like roles should like, if combat roles should be for combat, non-combat roles should be worse at combat. I don't think the game should fully prioritize combat. I know that's pretty much what video games are. It's PvP, PvP, competitive, competitive. Who's the strongest? Who would win this? Who would win that? I don't want it to be like that. I really don't. Because you look at actual One Piece, the only two characters apart of the Straw Hats that genuinely like care mostly about combat are Zoro and Luffy. Like you can go ahead and say, oh, Sanji though. He forcefully doesn't use his hands. He doesn't want to use like any sort of combat fruit. He openly said if he had a fruit, it'd be like invisibility. He does not focus on combat. His main thing is being a cook. He puts that over anything else. He doesn't fight women just because of his own morals. It is not combat. His main thing is not combat. The only two there that are Zoro and Luffy, and they don't have a specific role other than just like leading or being strong. that's that's what they do. And I think that's how it should play out in this as well.
we've seen, I'd like to believe it's the opposite, which is actually why I wanna build the strongest RLC's crew possible. So join my Discord in
Guy
the
loves
description and the
plugging
pinned
this.
comment, and make sure you subscribe and like. Because think about what it would actually mean if these
I'll think about it though. I do want to like try to find a crew. I do want to.
trolls actually had weight. If the navigator talent makes your crew genuinely faster and safer at sea, especially with the different weather systems,
Yeah.
temperatures, and sea beasts we know are in the game, that would honestly be really tough. If the doctor talent is the only way to recover from certain status effects in combat or healing, then being a doctor actually becomes useful. If the
Yeah.
shipwright determines whether your ship survives a storm, or whether you're cannonballed or not, that would make shipwrights actually important, and would overall mean
Exactly.
that we'd all want to create cooperating crews made of every single
That's what I
different
want.
role, rather
I
than
don't
just
want it to be, oh, I'm gonna be the strongest. Oh, I'm gonna do this the best. Oh, I'm stronger than you. Oh, who'd win this? I don't want it to be like that. That'd ruin it. You see all these Roblox games being like that, and there's a reason they're slop. There's a reason they don't feel real. There's a reason for that. All right, let's look at it because like here's the best comparison I can do. Here actually no, I can compare it to like shooter games as well. In shooters, I'm gonna use TF2 as an example for this. You have like medic and engineer, which typically do not fight directly. They can, but like obviously they have a disadvantage there a little bit. But they are able to like support in different ways. Rather it's giving back up through like just like deployables or being able to heal or boost other players. They are able to do that. That is their focus. There's plenty of things like that in other FPS games, like support or tanks. Like you actually have to work together. It's cool. It's a big aspect of the game. It's really nice. I personally suck at FPS games, but I like that part of it. I think it's really cool. I was also going to say Minecraft because a lot of like I don't really have this issue because anyone I play with is kind of experienced and knows how to play Minecraft really well, and I am too. But like a lot of like newer players will like have one person like being a builder, one person being a miner, will like have people focus on different things. And I can get that if you're like new to it and don't fully understand it yet. It's kind of like that, you know? I don't know why Minecraft was my first go-to there. FPS games are the best thing to go to for that. But like, I think that'd be cool for it. I think that's how it should be.
PvPing like in Blox Fruits and every other one.
Like in FPS games, DPS are like obviously the best for doing damage. Like if you're a healer, you shouldn't be upset or it shouldn't even be a comparison if a DPS user who's good at using it is like, "Oh, hey, I'd win against you." I'd like duh. Duh. Because it's not the other person's point. The DPS is supposed to. I think it should be like that. Like, a cook or doctor shouldn't be like able to fully compete. It should have a disadvantage in comparison. This is just like I don't know. You guys get the point. I've yapped about this a lot.
Piece game Roblox. Ship customization needs to carry that crew identity with it. The Thousand Sunny wasn't just Frankie's best work. It had the lion head, the soldier dog system, features they were built specifically for the straw hats, and made no sense on any other ship. When you see the Sunny on the ocean, you know whose ship it is, before you even see a crew member. It would be genuinely cool if RLC's ships can get to that level. We know customization is really detailed, cool. But I do wonder how far it actually goes. And it would be a really interesting.
You know how whenever like Marineford was happening and the Moby Dick showed up and everyone was like, "It's Whitebeard! That's his ship!" Everybody was scared and they knew. I think like popular crews like that, like as I said, like Yonkos that are like really popular and stuff and won it. I think things like that should be like iconic. Everyone should know that. I agree with them. It should be like trademark. It should be something that everybody recognizes.
Feature. If crew reputation was completely separate from personal reputation, a brand new
That'd be
player
cool.
who joins the most powerful crew on the server should be treated differently by NPCs and other players, not because of their individual strength, but because of the crew they're under. That's exactly how One Piece works. Do you really think Chopper is
Actually, I have no comment. He said that well.
strong? Hell nah, his bounty is 50 berries.
I'm gonna disagree with that part though. First, Chopper's new bounty is actually 1,000. But no, Chopper is strong with the flip. This guy was like contending with Queen pretty well. He is strong. Like let's not go out on a limb and say he's not strong. All the people in the Straw Hats are strong in some way. Also, Chopper's stronger than like Usopp. If you want to go after someone on the Straw Hats for being weak, go after Usopp. Usopp is the one that's not strong. He just like, I swear this guy just has silly plot armor and like really good observation hockey, and he's really good with range stuff, and that's about it. And all of that hasn't done much. If you want to go after someone on the Straw Hats for being weak, though, go after Usopp. Do not go after Chopper. Chopper is able to like, he's able to fend for himself, man.
Similarly, the name of Whitebeard Pirates carries
I get what it means though, yeah. I get what he's still pointing at. People would still be able to like look at Usopp or Chopper and be like, "Ha! He runs with Luffy."
weight before you even
I think that should be like something that's like in the game as well. I think if someone's like a part of someone else's crew and they're able to see that, they should like people in the server would be like, "Ooh, he's with these guys. It's scary."
fight. And if you betray that crew, like Blackbeard did, you might be getting jumped. On to world building. Every character in One Piece works because characters arrive at an island where a problem already exists. Alabasta, for example, wasn't just a random desert map. It was a full country being destroyed by Crocodile. Dressrosa.
World building was fully plot based. I can't lie, world building in One Piece is good already on its own, but for Luffy and like for the story of like just the plot and the lore and everything and what went on and all the things that were going on the islands already, like how Crocodile was dominating Alabasta and how Doflamingo was already doing stuff in Dressrosa and how Kaido and Orochi was already doing stuff in Wano. I think actually I don't even think it is just like kind of for plot that all that was going on for Luffy, like specifically. It was definitely a plot thing.
Wasn't just a random city, it was completely built on lies by Doflamingo, even Wano being run by Kaido. The Straw Hats walked into things that were already happening, and they chose to get involved and help the country or the cities. In Rell Seas, I have a theory that
This should be managed through events. This is way too hard right now to be able to do normally. I wouldn't expect them to do this normally. I don't expect this of them. If they're able to, that would be astonishing. That'd be amazing. But I expect this to be ran through like events, just like world events that happen.
might work through the event system, where you can choose if you help or fight, or even flee. Rell Seas confirmed dynamic randomized events with the 40 NPC pirate factions across the islands, which is actually very interesting. Every visit to an island shouldn't be the same loop like Sailor Piece. The political situation on that island should be different depending on what happened there recently. Things like what faction is in control and what events you can take part in. But it goes beyond events. The islands themselves
Making it a massive, massive sea with tons of stuff going on and making the servers be able to have as many people in them as possible and make it work like an MMORPG would be so cool. And that's would be the best for what was just described. I think that'd be really cool though. That'd be really hard to implement though. And I don't know how well it'd work with the Roblox. But that'd be really cool.
need to fill the completely different roles. In One Piece, you had a frozen kingdom, a desert
Drum
country, a
Island,
country in the sky,
Alabasta,
an underwater
Skypia,
civilization.
Fishing
Each
Island,
one
yeah.
felt like a completely different world, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I know it's not like
Yeah, they
this,
did.
but the full Rell Seas Island
Every single arc in One Piece feels like a different anime. Straight up. They're so different. It feels like a different anime. It's completely different worlds. And like before you watch it, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's so goofy." Like this one place is prehistoric and has dinosaurs. This other place is like scientific. This place is like traditional Japanese. This one's underwater. This one's like in the sky floating on clouds. This guy's really big and has these proportions for no reason. This guy like his head is the size of a skyscraper, but the rest of his body's kind of small. Like before watching it, that all looks really silly. But like once you get it into it, you're like, wait, this is so peak. I'm so happy it's like this.
felt like the same asset packs with different colors. That would turn the entire game into a generic parry slap game that we get every once in a while in Roblox.
I can't lie, games like this make parrying and like dungeon-like games look awful. If you want a good parry, skill-based RPG-like game on Roblox right now, the only thing that I can think of you going to is Deep Oaken. A lot of people don't like Deep Oaken because of permadeath and you can't really disable PvP and things like that, which is valid. It's a hard game and there's permadeath. Like, that's valid. I don't really fully like it either. I've gotten used to it, but I don't fully like it either. I actually do like permadeath, like because of how they do permadeath, but permadeath with untoggleable PvP, I don't like. So I can see people's frustration on it, but like right now, the only one that is actually good right now that I can think of is Deep Oaken.
Curse gear! I know this got at least one person mad. Even worse, players would find the optimal grinding spot and never leave, turning it into nothing more than block shoots or sailor piece. We actually haven't seen most of the islands yet, and I hope they're very different from one another. On to Sky Islands. I need to talk about Skypiea specifically because in my opinion, it's the most interesting place in One Piece and has massive potential in Rell
Valid.
Seas.
Yeah.
There's an entire civilization above the clouds, and most
There
people
should
on
be
the ground don't
specific
even
things
know
for
it
Skypiea,
exists.
yeah.
That would honestly change the Rell Seas experience depending on how you would get there, and how important it is for the game. If Rell
I want to compare this to. Also, this is another thing. Arcane Odyssey isn't a parry-based game or like an full RPG like this, but Arcane Odyssey is still kind of cool. It's probably second. I'd probably consider it second behind Ebook. And if you don't like permadeath, you should probably go to like Arcane Odyssey next. It's all right. It's not like really good. There's like certain features that they could have done way better, but they thought of things that are really cool. And this is what I wanted to bring up. There's parts in the game that are in the sky where you have to like use a specific type of ship to sail in the sky and stuff. I think this is something that should be implemented here. Skypiea should work something like that. There should be specific things. You know how there's like sky apples and stuff in like Arcane Odyssey that are like that? I think it'd be really cool if like just there's just specific things that you need to go to Skypiea for. I think that'd be cool. You need
Seas
specific boats and
hypothetically
stuff
only
to
had
be up there.
horizontal sea travel like Sailor Piece, you would be missing half of the One Piece experience. Because they confirmed floating islands, flying mounts, and flying
Yeah,
ships, but I would like Skypiea to have an actual role in the world map. As in, there's things up there that you can't get anywhere else and you have to keep coming back. Another thing
for
is
sure,
Fishman
yeah.
Island, which is very interesting because
Same for
confirmed
Fishman
races
Island, yeah.
include fishmen in Rell Seas as well as the actual underwater islands. Similar to Skypiea, there's an entire society underwater with its own history and possibly its own beef with its surface world. Like in the anime, we know there's submarines, so that might be one way to reach an underwater island. But since fishermen are also a playable race, that might be another way entirely. And then there's Hades Asylum, aka Impel Down. Like I said in my previous video, Marines get exclusive access to the elevator system. The most dangerous criminals get locked down on the lowest.
I don't think Marines should be able to go inside Impel Down. Unless it's, say, your rear vice admiral, or a vice admiral, or an admiral. Or, obviously, fleet admiral. Other than that, I don't think they should even have access. Normal Marines, like Commodores, captains, and stuff like that, should not have access to Impel Down. Only government agents should. And within government agents, basic ones shouldn't even. It should be, like, Cypherpole specific. Because Impel Down, like, going into Impel Down is more, like, into world government type stuff than Navy. Obviously, they're directly linked and connected, but, like, it's more going into government than Navy.
Floors of Impel Down in Rell Seas, which potentially only admirals can reach. That's actually smart.
The bottom floor should be nearly unreachable by anyone, and only the worst of the worst should be there. Like, it should be almost impossible to escape, and it should be like that anyways, because it should be like the no-lifes that are down there. It should be like so bad that you should think of it as if someone gets put there, they pretty much lost that slot. It shouldn't be like something you can easily escape. It should be something extremely like super, super, super hard, even by any standards. It should be really hard, and only the worst should like absolute like top 50 maybe should even be put there. Like top 200, something like that. It should be genuinely the worst. And as he said, I think only maybe Cypherpole 0. Anyone related to like anything holy, like obviously the five elders, like any sort of like god knight, any sort of thing like that. And then admirals, and then fleet admiral should be able to go down there. That's it. That's it. You can talk about a prison warden, but I think the prison warden should be an NPC. I think that's how that should work. I think being in the 6th level of Impel Down I think this is how because I don't know if I'd want it to be like full permadeath. I'd prefer for Rell Seas to be like, I don't know. Instead of permadeath, I think I'd rather it be captured, or if you're killed, you lose a lot of stuff. And when I say a lot, I mean like all the items you have on you and all the money. Like everything. And your reputation and your bounty. Maybe if you're a Marine, then your status decimates a lot. You should lose a lot, but not actually that slot. It should be like days or like at least 10 hours of progress gone when you die. It should be tons of progress loss. It shouldn't just be money. It shouldn't be like, oh, you just respawned. It should be an insane amount of stuff lost. If you die as a pirate with like, in the higher your bounty goes up, you should be locked in impel down. Harder to escape, the lower it goes down. Almost impossible. Like, maybe only 2 people in the world could even escape from there. You might as well start a new slot. That's how I think it should be. My bad, my grandma came into my room. Um, anyways though, as I was saying, I think that's how it should be, yeah. Alright. And for like Marines and Revolutionary Army should probably get the same punishment as pirates when dying or getting captured or anything. Should pretty much be the same thing. Then Marines and government. I think it depends on who they get caught or killed by, really. Right? I think it should generally just be what I said, though. You get reset to a lot of stuff. You just get reset a lot. That should happen to pirates and revolutionaries as well, but they should be put in impel down as well.
There's a lot of potential for Marines vs Pirates gameplay. Now, on to legendary locations.
What's that?
One Piece has locations that feel like they could only exist in that world. Marineford, Laugh Tale, Rough Tale, Impel Down. If you've watched the anime, you know crazy things happen in all of these places. Their destinations, the entire story built toward. In my opinion, Rell needs Marineford. Not just the location, but a place where server-wide events actually happen, which actually affect your progression. For example, Pirates vs Marines doing a full-out war. In the anime, the Marineford War wasn't just one battle. It permanently changed the world order. After it, nothing was the same. Whitebeard died, Ace died, the whole balance of power shifted. And like I mentioned before, it would be cool if there was a Marineford in Rell guarded by Marines, and us as the player base could actually recreate the Marineford War. That would honestly go crazy. Another thing that's come to my mind is how reaching endgame locations in Rell will work. For example, Laugh Tale. Now, we don't know exactly what the endgame destination in Rell will be, and maybe there won't even be one.
I didn't think about Laugh Tale. I'm not even going to think about how they should do Laugh Tale or my input on it. I'm curious. I'll leave it like that. I don't even know if they're going to. We'll see.
Since it's not strictly about going island to island, but if there's one, it wouldn't be cool if it was just a level requirement like block swords.
Please don't do that.
With strong mobs. In One Piece, just to reach the last island, you need all 4 road poneglyphs scattered across the world in the territory of the 4 Yonkos. You couldn't just go get them. You had to become powerful enough to challenge the Yonkos, the admirals, and the most dangerous forces in the world. Hidden lore that reveals itself slowly is what keeps the One Piece readers invested for decades. The Void Century, the Will of D, the ancient weapons. None of it was explained upfront. It was discovered piece by piece across hundreds of chapters. Rell needs discoverable history that players piece together over months. I think they've mentioned before that there will be things scattered on the map, actual world lore, and crafting recipes, and we also do know there's going to be a library, which I'd assume holds some information about the world's history. It would honestly be really interesting if there were poneglyphs scattered across the map. Ancient stones that only certain players can read, because that alone creates a reason to visit every single island.
That would be cool. Please do that, actually. I didn't think about that.
Always been about how the world reacts to who you're becoming, through newspapers specifically, whether it's your bounty, reaching admiral, or Yonko status. Your bounty isn't just a number that piles up the more pirates or marines you defeat. It's a government document that says specifically why you scared them. Luffy's bounty went up because he defeated Crocodile, also because he broke into and out of Impel Down. Each increase came with a reason relating to how badly they want him gone, rather than how strong he actually is. Now, in Rell Seas, we do know the bounty system exists, and all we know so far is that if you don't pay your taxes, your bounty
Dude.
increases, which honestly is really interesting, because it's similar to how it works in One Piece rather than Blox Fruits. But if Rell Seas were to just auto-generate bounty numbers based on kills and wins, that would not be my favorite.
That'd be
The bounty
horrible.
system should work more like a record of your most significant actions.
He
What
said
did you
this
do to
already.
force the Rell Seas government to pay attention? Is it that you didn't pay taxes? Because yes, Rell Seas will have taxes if you don't know. Is it your crew?
Yeah,
How
we
many
know.
NPC factions hate you? A combination of all of that should be your bounty, if you ask me. And ideally, it would be cool if there was a description under every bounty. For example, a list of everything you did that adds up to that number. Or at least a reason why you even have a
Sure.
bounty. I basically wonder what the bounty poster is actually gonna look like. Is it exactly gonna look like the bounty from One Piece? Second, NPC reactions that change based on your faction and bounty would completely change how the role feels. Walking into a marine town as a pirate with a massive bounty should feel completely different from walking in as a low bounty newcomer. Because imagine you had a massive bounty, you're a Yonko. The shopkeepers would probably be
This should
scared,
happen, yeah.
Marines preparing to fight you the second you dock. The Rell Seas grade system and bounty system together could create a really interesting reputation system that spans across many different.
If you are a Yonko or an Admiral, where you are and your location should be publicly shown to the server on a map. It should be like, if you arrive at an island, all NPCs should change whatever they're doing because of it. Like, players should be alerted because of it. Like, maybe even through servers, like if an Admiral or Yonko gets online, it should say has gone online, even if they didn't join your direct server, just if they joined the game in general. That's how I see it. It should be like an actual, like, scary thing that affects everything.
Different islands, but we'll see how bounties work when the game comes out. And lastly, losing a high level PvP fight needs to have stakes. I'm not saying relatives should have permadeath, I think most of us hate permadeath, I hate it especially, but there should be some
I've gotten used to permadeath just because how Deep Broken does it is actually nice. How they do it with the depths and stuff, I like that. But like, I can understand why having permadeath would limit the player base a lot because most people on Roblox just want to play Roblox or kids. So I can see why. But like, there should be some massive consequence for dying. Like huge, oh, I kind of want to make a new slot now. Oh, this character kind of sucks. I might just delete it and restart. Consequence. Like, it should genuinely make you lose your marbles. It should make you lose so much.
consequences. And knowing how Shindo life works, when you die, you lose a portion of your money. It could be
Don't do that. Don't make it be like a Terraria, like, easy core style death. Do not do that. Do not make it be, oh, well, I lost a portion of my money. I lost half my money. It's fine. I'll gain it back through quests. Do not do that. That'd be so bad. I don't want to see that in a high stakes game, like something that's supposed to be like One Piece. Don't. Please, make it way more intense than that.
something similar, where an item from your inventory or some money drops
No, it shouldn't be an item. Your entire inventory, including your weapons, your equipped items, everything should be dropped. Unless it's like soul bonded or something like that. Like if you have like a soulbound cursed sword or something, or like some sort of like cursed pendant or something, and it has to be like soulbound with you. Anything other than that. And I think you should like lose any armor, like parts of your ship. Maybe like if you're a captain, it should be ransacked. All of your money should go, not a little bit, every bit, all of it, gone. All of that should happen. That's the price to pay for not having permadeath, to make it feel real and actually be impactful. If you just do, oh well, I lost a little bit of money again, guess I'm gonna grind for another hour. If you make it something as simple as that, it's just not gonna be impactful. It's gonna be like Blox Fruits, where dying really has no significance. You lose like 15k bounty. Who cares? You just get that back, or you don't care. Really. In Terraria, when I die, like, you just drop a portion of your money. I don't care. Actually, in Terraria, because it's not players doing it, it's not like anything's taking it, you can just go back and get it. So, like, if you dropped a lot, like platinum and stuff, you can just go back. I'll just do that. But, like, that's wouldn't happen. You just kind of have to brush it off and be like, oh, well, who cares? You know? Like, the death has to be impactful. They have to make it impactful.
when you die to another player, but if Rell C's PvP is completely consequence free like Sailor Peace, there will be no stakes, and it wouldn't be my favorite. Okay, this is the section I've been the most excited to get to, because almost nobody is talking about this in the context of Rell C's. And it's actually the thing that could separate this game from every One Piece game that's ever been made. Plus, it could be a really interesting feature. The Will of D in One Piece is one of the most mysterious things in all of
I'd be moderately confused if they implemented Will of D. I want to see what he has to say about them implementing Will of D. How would this shouldn't be a player thing. If something like Will of D is actually a thing, it shouldn't be a player thing. It should be like a select chosen few. It shouldn't be a player thing that you just get by chance or like that you can choose from. It shouldn't be something that's just given to players. I don't even know if this should be a thing. I'll see what he has to say about it though.
manga. The initial D appears in the names of the most significant people in the entire story. Roger, Luffy, Ace, Garp, Law, Blackbeard. It's hinted at being an unrelated bloodline with a specific destiny to oppose the government. It's been over 20 years and Oda still hasn't fully explained it, which is a little crazy, but it's just what makes One Piece One Piece. Now, imagine if Rell Seeds had a hidden lineage system of some sorts, a character creation, a rare trait that a small percentage of players start with that's pretty much unknown. In short, something that doesn't immediately give you stronger stats, but unlocks secret story content, hidden interactions with NPC, or even
I know
hidden
it sounds
abilities.
cool.
The community would honestly go crazy for this.
No.
Similarly, imagine
This is just, even if they go crazy, this isn't something that'll work well. If you make it possible to get, even if you make it a 0.0001% chance, everyone will go for it. It doesn't matter. You have to understand how no life people are. And if you make it like a one-time thing, like you can't re-roll for it, you have to pay Robux to re-roll that, and it's that rare, no one's gonna care, and people are gonna complain about it. You can't lock a piece of story behind it. You can't lock something coming out of it behind it. And if you don't do that, there's no point of even adding it. If you do something like this, it shouldn't be like a story. It should be like dev only. And even then, I just don't think this is something that should be added. It sounds cool. Don't do it. It's kind of like how in Minecraft, magic sounds cool. Don't. It would not make things good.
Rell Seeds had ancient weapons from One Piece, such as Poseidon,
No. This is another thing that's just a no. Don't do this in a player-ran RPG like Roblox game. Don't add ancient weapons. Don't do this.
on Uranus, weapons so powerful that the world government hunts anyone who even knows about them. If Rell Seeds has legendary items or abilities that are rare, there could be a lot of potential for faction war events, but that will probably be more of an endgame content, if it ever comes to Rell Seeds. Rell Seeds has
If they do ancient weapons, it should be a developer slash owner of the game hosted event where players have to like evacuate these cutscenes. It's specifically for that.
been in the makings for 3 plus years. There's been many sneaks we've seen over the years that make this game unique. I also think it's very likely for this game to come out this summer, but at the end of the day, Rell Seeds is based on One Piece, so I would like it more if it actually had hidden features or One Piece systems that every other trash One Piece Roblox game ignores. But if you made it till the end of this